Hey, so this is still Speedrun Ragnarok. We're still benefiting Take This. My name's Rajasu. Up next we have igna77 with Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, and that means the costume bid war for this game is now closed, and it will be the corrupted costume. Do keep in mind that we have additional bid wars coming up for Ultima 4, Stair Quest, and many more. So be sure to get those donations in, and with that, I'll turn things over to Igna.
Hello everybody, glad to be here. My name is Igna, and I'll be running Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, Vergil, new game, Devil Hunter. Here with me we have Cosmic, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello there. My name is DE Cosmic, and I am a Devil May Cry series speedrunner. And thank you to Igna for asking me to do this today.
No problem. So we're gonna start the run here. We're gonna select the character Vergil, and we're gonna go with Corrupted. It's the bid word winner. And time is gonna start as soon as I hit tutorial off. It'll be in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so what we're gonna be doing here is we're going through the main campaign levels with Dante's brother Vergil. Dante being the main character of this series. Spoilers, Vergil is also the father of the other playable character that's introduced in Devil May Cry 4, Nero. And there's actually, this tutorial here that we're about to do is actually forced upon us. If you play Vergil or Lady in this run, even if you turn tutorial off, it still forces them to do the tutorial. Nero's the only one that's not forced to do the tutorial. So Vergil's got a few unique weapons. He's got his katana, known as the Yamato. It can cut through time and space. He has his father's sword, known as Force Edge, which he'll dual wield with Yamato, and he has the Beowulf gauntlets. Vergil is mostly based around his concentration mechanic, which, as it builds up, because it rewards you for playing like Vergil, so to speak. It rewards not whiffing attacks, which were missing attacks. It rewards standing still or moving, like just walking around, sort of. And it increases Vergil's damage output like really high. There's really not a whole lot to talk about right now because we kind of just have to get through here. Apparently the game is a little bit loud, so we could always lower that probably like right around here. Okay, cool. Sounds good. And so now you see Igna doing something called judgment cuts. So you can hold down the melee button in order to charge up the Yamato and do something called the judgment cut. And the judgment cut is when you just have like a little bubble that goes out in front of Vergil. It'll auto track to enemies. If you do it with a specific timing, it will create an empowered version of this judgment cut. And the empowered judgment cut is really what we're going to be doing a lot of throughout the game as Vergil, just because it does a lot of damage and it has like a really big area of effect. And we actually have to play at 60 FPS in order for these to be easier to do. So something to note about this game is that you can play it at variable frame rate or locked frame rate up to 60. Vergil as a character doesn't work correctly at 120 FPS because everything that he does is based around how many FPS or like how many frames, like as after an attack occurs. So this skip that Igna's going to do right here. Oh, did you not get it? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was a little too behind. Needed one more step.
Yeah, so that skip right there, normally you can get right to that door and it will allow you to just skip this fight entirely. And that's actually not possible at 120 FPS because that dash forward that Igna just did called Rapid Slash, it doesn't go as far at 120 FPS because there's more frames happening in less time. So Rapid Slash's distance traveled actually shortens. So we play at 60 FPS not only so that the timing for the windows on Judgment Cut is better, but it's so a lot of Vergil's moves work correctly, as opposed to playing at variable FPS, which shortens the distance on a lot of his things or makes the Judgment Cut windows tighter. So Igna's gonna. I'm sorry, I almost called you Vergil. Igna is going to be doing a lot of rapid slash, which is the dash forward there into judgment cuts, and this is really like Vergil's bread and butter combo. He's also going to be grabbing this red orb crystal right here, and this is probably a pretty good time to talk about this game's economy. So this game has 2 money economies that go on. We have red orbs, which are those things that he was just getting right there, and it has proud souls. And the difference between them is that red orbs are used to purchase items, such as stars that will refill your health, or your stars that will refill your devil trigger, which is the bar underneath Vergil's green bar there, which activates his powered up state. And you can also buy holy waters, which do a bunch of damage too, but we'll get to those in a bit. The proud souls, which are only awarded to you at the end of missions based upon your style rank and different bonuses, such as like not taking any damage or not using any items. They are used exclusively to purchase abilities, and we also have the ability to refund abilities if we maybe don't need one for like one mission or something like that. So having a strong early game, like not taking a lot of damage early on missions, is very important for pretty much any character that you're playing in this game. And you saw Igna there actually jumping a little bit before dashing, because he's trying to maintain that full concentration meter there. Like I mentioned before, Vergil does like a ton of damage, and his moves actually get enhanced at full concentration. So he's going to be buying a thing called a purple orb, which is going to not only increase his max devil trigger, but it's also going to refill the bar. So here's Burial. So Igna is going to go ahead and do some judgment cuts to him. And that's a really unfortunate attack to get like really early there. Burial is probably this game's glass ceiling for a lot of characters, a lot of runners. And then he's going to do something called Distortion. And Distortion is an exploit that's in the game where you saw this boss just got totally demolished. So Vergil has 2 models that he uses for both human and devil and devil trigger. And when those models overlap during the active frames of a move, it actually creates instances of double damage. So in that instance right there, he got both instances of damage that's a lot of instances. He got both instances of damage at once, and he was able to double up on the damage that he had available and just one-shot the boss really quickly. So he also got no damage. He also got no damage on that mission overall, so he's going to get a bunch of Proud Souls off there. We're going to be spending those a little bit later. And we're going to get introduced to another enemy here called the Frost. And you might recognize the Frost from the first Devil May Cry game. They brought them back for this game. They're a little bit weaker in this game than they are in Devil May Cry 1, but something pretty neat here that Igna's going to want to do is activate his Devil Trigger in order to parry or block the attack that a Frost is going to do on him, in order to get full concentration gauge very quickly, and then he's going to be able to use Judgment Cut in order to take them down, like super fast. There we go. Oh, it's always harder for me to hit Judgment Cut in Devil Trigger. I have no idea why, dude.
It is.
Like, it's just
I cannot
weird.
I cannot Judgment Cut out of Rapid Slash with Devil Trigger, but I can do single cuts. It's weird.
Yeah, it's so odd. Oh, also, did I mention that Vergil can chain his dashes with his sword into each other in Devil Trigger? So that's what you just saw there. You saw a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog action. And this is about like the room where you start to see just how much kind of damage and crowd control Vergil does. And because of this category doesn't really have a whole lot of RNG that goes on. This category is pretty much entirely decided like by your execution. The better you get at these judgment cuts, the better your time's going to be, you know? And because you just get to control so many of these instances, like so many of these fights, just because there's so much crowd control and so much damage being dealt. As long as you are able to keep that concentration meter up. You saw Igna, you know, he was fighting those enemies that you don't normally have to fight. With a lot of other characters, they'll run just like right by him. But because he's able to, because he kills those enemies, he's able to enter into the next fight with full concentration. Now here we don't really have much of a choice. We got to run past these Frosts, because otherwise it's just going to take too much time in order to kill them. And at this point, in the main campaign, Nero and Dante have Nero's reached this castle of a place called the order called the Order of the Sword, and they worship Dante's father as a god. And I don't remember the exact canon of how they justified Vergil being in this campaign when Special Edition released. I think it's supposed to be like a prequel to the game, or something like that. They just use whatever excuse they can, I guess, to get this character into all the missions by himself. He gets the big brother privilege where he gets to play through every mission by himself and no other character does. And then laying it down, like I said, just as long as those judgment cuts are on point, you're good to go. Here we're going to get introduced to the Angelos, and the Angelos have shields that they will use to protect themselves, as shields do. And that's why Igna's going to try and get behind them in order to stun them, and right there with the judgment cut as well. Sometimes they'll fly around. There's a lot of shenanigans that they can do, but they're no match for Vergil. That was cool. Teleported out, or you did trick out of the rapid slash. I like that. So again, and then I also forgot to mention the skip there that Igna did. He actually did like a damage boost, so we're not going to get no damage on that. I myself personally like to do a different version of the skip that is a little bit harder, but you end up not taking damage there. So he's going to buy upgrades to Vergil's unique projectile, which is called Summon Swords. And Summon Swords are a little bit different than the other, guns. Well, they're on the gun button, but they're a little bit different from the other projectiles or guns that other characters use, because Vergil has no animation that, he's doing attached to these. So while you're doing things with the Summon Swords, while you're shooting them out of his body, he can do other things alongside that, like with his weapons. Whereas the other characters, if they're shooting their gun or whatever, they can't do anything else with the sword, really. So that's something unique to Vergil as well. So, you can see players, once we get a little bit more abilities and everything, you have stuff that you're doing with the Summon Swords in addition to operating with the melee as well. A little bit of increase in APM. These, by the way, are called the gyros or the Beyblades. And there are set things that we do in every room to them in order to manipulate them and move them around. This is kind of like this game's version of a puzzle. And you basically just have to... normally what you would do in a casual playthrough is you would move this gyro down the hall, and then you would, bring both of the gyros back with you to the center of the room. However, you don't have to do this at all. You can just bring back this second one here, and then when we come back to this room in a couple of minutes, you'll see that the one that Igna just left behind is actually right back in the middle of the room. There will be 3 there, and we need 4 to reach the boss. And we're going to go and grab the 4th one after we take this one to the center of the room here. Yo-oh.
Gyros being gyros.
Yep. This is one of those things where it's like, at first when you deal with these things, they're not so bad, but when you're kind of doing a lot of attempts in one day and you get to this mission, it's like, man, I do not want to deal with these things anymore. So down goes the Angelos there. And I think that we actually probably have time for donations or whatever else needs to be taken care of before we get to the boss here.
Yep.
So we don't have any donations at the moment, but I will say that if you haven't, you should totally type in !shirts and check out the Speedrun Ragnarok official merch shop, which has all kinds of shirts and hoodies and face masks. I know I can never have enough face masks these days. As always, all profits benefit Take This.
Alright, so this boss right here, hold on one moment. Somebody at work is...
Okay, I can talk about the boss.
Okay,
so
yep,
the
go
boss
for it,
we're gonna have is Bale, I think it's the name. It's a big frog. So basically what it does is that it's gonna try to lure us with some kind of ladies that he has on antennas. Like the big fish that lures small fish with lights. So
probably have to explain again, but it's cool. So, this is the dice game. Okay, excellent. So, this is the dice game, and you would think that this is the part of the game that's the most random, because you're rolling a dice, but this dice is actually fixed and it can be manipulated. So, it always goes 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5. That was unfortunate.
Yeah,
and
1 early. That's fine.
That's
Oh, the lasers. That's fine.
And so, oh yeah, lasers is totally fine. Yeah, you're rolling a die as opposed to rolling a live. And so, if you just wait for the die to like fall on certain numbers, you can get through all of these sections of the game without incident. I don't remember exactly when that was discovered. It was probably like a decade ago or something.
Okay, I'll need to count here.
All right, go for it, man.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I need a 4.
Cool. So yeah, we're gonna pass on to after this dice game here. We're gonna pass on to one of the greatest bosses in action game history, which is a window. It is a window boss because there's a guy that's hidden behind it whose name is Agnes. He's shooting a bunch of swords at you, causing lightning on the floor. And Vergil actually has a pretty cool strat for this game, or for this boss right here, where you can stick a sword in the window and then you can do a lunar phase to the sword, and because lunar phase is multi-hitting, the sword will keep getting restuck in the window and it will keep reapplying that damage tick from the sword first being shot into the window. So that is like the only instance in this entire, like all across all three main categories, where there's an actual strat for the window other than just throw the swords at it. So thank you, Vergil, with the Big Brother privilege here, being able to basically just one-shot the window.
He also survived with 1 pixel health.
Yeah. By the way, this is legitimately one of the greatest action games ever made, and there's a boss that's a window. Just think about it, get back to me, but I tell no lies.
There we go.
And I'm gonna grab that concentration again there. And in this room, I think specifically, there's like I don't remember if it's just on Legendary Dark Knight mode or not, but there's usually like an uptick of drop rates for white orbs, which refill your devil trigger. Is it just on, what's it called?
It's an LDK.
Just
the
an
first
LDK?
white drop, we get it about mission 8
7 or 8?
Greedo.
Oh yeah, that's right, because we don't do the fight in 7 anymore, right? So these Angelos are going to go down to the good old judgment cuts here.
Yep.
And you can see these guys also like to block here, so got to stay on your toes when you do those judgment cuts.
Yeah, I was too close to him, and I missed the input, but it's fine. Like, we don't want to no damage on this one anymore. We already have our economy kind of sorted out. So it's no damage is actually good, because it makes it a little bit easier, but at this point we're good with economy. Just in souls. For raiders, we'll still need to buy a couple of things.
Yeah, in terms of like this is one of those missions that is so rarely no damaged that like no damaging this mission is not even in like any current buy routes or anything. It's one of those things where it's like optimally, yes, you would like no damage most of the game, and like no damage this on top and just maybe get like a ton of stuff, but it's so unlikely with all of the things that are sort of thrown at you from different angles, especially in the window fight itself, like when you try and set up the quick kill, that it's just not worth to even think about. Even though like when you no damage this mission, you just get a ton of proud souls. Like you're swimming in them if you no damage this mission. I remember I had a run recently with here's more Sonic the Hedgehog right here. The camera can't even keep up. He didn't even have a body, dude. Did you see that? He was just like the wings and the head.
Okay. That's Vergil for you guys. So menu in here.
So right here, you saw Igna turn off a function called Turbo. And what Turbo does is it increases the work rate of the game by 20%. This was originally implemented starting with Devil May Cry 3 because they wanted to allow players that were on PAL copies of DMC3 to play at 60, what would amount to 60 hertz, or the speed of 60 hertz. They also implemented this on NTSC copies, or the US copies or the international copies, stuff like that. And that just increases the work rate of the game to 20%. So you were basically playing at like, I don't remember what 20% of 60 hertz would be, I guess, but
65, I think, something. I don't know.
I don't even remember. But because of turbo mode, there's physics that actually get changed in some ways. And so in order for this skip that we're going to do to work, we actually have to be on turbo. Because we're going to position ourselves on like a grip pad, which will, it's intended to take you across the level, like to this chasm or whatever here. But what Igna's going to do is going to allow us to go out of bounds, essentially, and sequence break the level. So I'll let you just do your thing.
Okay, 1 second. Got it, first try.
Hey, let's go. Okay, so the reason that this works, by the way, is that bottom half of that room actually just leads... It's another room that you would go through later after doing another fight in the level. And then you would head right to the boss from there. But we were able to land on the edge of, like, between inbounds and out of bounds, jump out of bounds, land on that bottom part of the level, and then get to that door, which is going to lead us to Echidna, which is the she-viper. And so Igna's just going to use blistering swords and a bunch of the washing machine kicks here in order to take her down.
He's not wanted. Okay, Cowabunga it is.
Yeah, Cowabunga. Sometimes this boss just does not want to cooperate. What's supposed to happen is she's supposed to like fly up into the air and go into sort of like a flower form, at which point you would like just punch her and with distortion, and she would just go down pretty much. Unfortunately, when she got stunned was when she was in that mode, and she didn't want to go into the flower mode, so it's a little bit slower, but it's also fine.
Mm-hmm. We still have two more tries, so we can show it off later.
Absolutely. So now we're going to turn back on turbo. So we're basically playing at like 120% work rate for most of the run, except for that mission. The only character that doesn't have a skip there like that is Lady. And even with all this menuing and everything that we're doing all that menuing and playing with turbo off is still faster by about a minute or so than playing the level with turbo on and then doing like one of those other fights.
Yeah,
just to give you an idea.
Long.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of like how long doing that level is. All right, and we have a little bit of downtime here as well as we head to like another kind of puzzly, foresty area.
Whoop. There you go.
So if there's any donations or anything that needs to be done, just go for it.
Sure, we have a $20 donation from Cinerestra with no comment. Feel free to get your donations in with or without comments. We love it. We love them either way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so this forest area that Igna's about to head into, there's a slab like in the middle of the room, in each section of the forest that reads something like, you have to follow the light. And essentially what this means is run away from the shadows. And so you have to just basically run to the section, or you have to run in the direction where the shadows are facing away from the door. So you see the shadows here are actually, behind Igna, or Vergil's shadow is behind him. And that's what you want. So you have to just do that for every room here. This is like a puzzle where if you guess wrong, you're taken to a forced encounter, and then you have to start the whole puzzle all over again. But when you know where to go, it's always the same. You can just do that every time. You can just, run the same direction every time. So here, Igna is going to do a little bit of purchasing to get ready for a boss called Kratos. And Kratos is my favorite boss in this whole game because Kratos is a boss that moves at your speed, has a lot of cool attacks, is really fast and everything, and he's just awesome to fight. Unfortunately, Vergil is not going to be interacting with him much because now we have a move called... You got heavy rain swords, right?
Yeah. I didn't get Devil Trigger Heart yet, but I want to get it later. So it's fine.
Okay, that's what it was, right. So we have a move called Heavy Rain Swords here. And Heavy Rain Swords is going to allow Igna to freeze Kratos in place and then set him up for those distortion punches. So there you saw just like 66% of his health is just totally gone in one punch there. And then all Igna needs to do here is just hit him again with Yamato and then set him up for another Beowulf distortion punch. And that boss is just totally down. Yeah, so like I said, that boss is really cool. Play through this game casually and fight that boss. He's awesome. Unfortunately, with Vergil, you're not going to see a whole lot of it. He threw spears. That was neat, right?
Imagine fighting the boss with Vergil.
Right? Yeah, imagine interacting with the enemies. Just Vergil things.
Just Vergil things.
So... this level right here is actually a level that went through a lot of evolution in the last year or so. And one of the first things here is this skip that Igna's about to do, where he's going to go ahead and skip this whole Angelo section right here. He actually dashed over a trigger, and Vergil is displaced in some manner during that move. We don't really know how. But he actually skips over a trigger that would otherwise activate a fight there. So you just get to bypass an entire, fight that all the other characters that would have to. Yeah, I would just fight them.
Nice.
Okay, there you
Beautiful.
go. Very cool. So that ball right there, it's basically like it's like Power Rangers, like powered up attack, like let's do it together, or whatever that the Angelos do. And if you knock it back at them, it's an instant kill, and it refills your Devil Trigger entirely, which is, I assume, why. Yeah, and concentration too. So now we're going to actually do there's like a whole elevator section here where you'd have to do fights and everything, but we're going to skip it pretty much entirely. I'll let you just do your thing here.
Oh, okay, we have one more shot. If not, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Oops. Okay, Kawabunga this.
Alright, fair enough. Unfortunate.
I've missed that skip a lot. There you go.
Yeah, I think you have to really let that wall hike rock. Okay, so there we go. So we're not gonna get the second part of this skip, but basically you would go all the way to the top here, and you'd only have to do one of the fights on this elevator section. We're gonna have to do two of them, but we still skipped, one of them, so that's pretty cool. That is the old version that they would used to do. In the new versions, you just hop over the invisible walls there, and then you hop right up top, and then you hop through another elevator section, and you just end up right here, basically. It's a lot.
Oops. Ooh. There you go. So the thing about that skip is that you have to make the final move for Vergil's stinger. Basically, the stick has to go to the position that Vergil is facing, and that camera changes so broadly that it is really hard to time from time to time. So I usually miss it because of that. But it's just a fight that we have to make, so the time loss isn't that big. Yeah. There's no time loss with Vergil.
That's true. And so here is the guy that was hiding behind the window before. If you've played Devil May Cry 5, by the way, this is Neko's father, who has now turned into Senior Fly. Just a bug.
Oops. Well, distortion for this guy.
So, here we go. Look, there's a lot of spoilers going on here, alright? Bug. Yeah, bug. And so Igna's just going to have to spin on him. Washing machine just going to work again. Senior Fly. With the accent on top.
There you go.
And he's dead.
Yeah, the fight is usually faster, but sometimes if you get hit, you lose all your concentration, and there's really hard to get it up again. So it's best just to go spitting on him and throwing the swords, and he's still dead.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, sometimes where like this character is like very momentum based, in terms of like PBing or like getting really good times on some of the levels where if you get hit once, you lose all your concentration, and the easiest way to get it back is to like stand still or like jump away from enemies. But unfortunately, some of them are so aggressive because in 4 SE or 4 Special Edition, they maxed out a lot of the aggression tables on bosses and stuff. So if you lose the momentum of having that level 3 concentration in a room, you're gonna pretty much just have to improvise or just bank on the enemies not hitting you for a little bit.
There you go.
Very nice. Have you seen like how some runners just like don't activate the slow-mo even here? They just kind of like run through. It's that keyboard movement, dude. It's that keyboard movement.
No idea how to do that, and they scare me.
It's hella scary, dude. Hella.
DMC keyboard gamers is scaring me so much. It's insane.
They just sit down at the battle station and they're like, all right, time to game.
Like, I tried to play this game with a keyboard once, and I just couldn't. Like, it's impossible. I just took out my gamepad and started playing again. Like, you cannot even use the mouse. It's hands-on keyboard completely. It's insane.
Alright, so
Fun
here
fact,
we go.
current world record holder plays on both categories, Nero Dante and Vergil, with a keyboard.
Yep, that's true.
Okay.
Alright, so here's another skip.
Easy.
Hey, there we go. So now we just passed over a whole fight there. So underneath those spinning blades would be like a fight with more Mephistos and a Faust. The Faust is like the gray enemy with the cloak on. But we just bypassed that whole thing by just using a bunch of movement techniques there, which is really cool about this game, is that like a lot of the skips that you'll do, pretty much all of them, are done like by exploiting the game's level structure and like intended game mechanics. So there's only that one instance really of out of bounds in the game, which is really neat.
You might remember him from the Shin Megami Tensei series.
That's true. He was in Nocturne. Yeah. So now we're gonna again bring Dante to the cleaners here by doing so. The teleport here can actually be used to cancel into the washing machine. And you can just take down Dante pretty easily.
He doesn't get to play.
He didn't get to play, no. Continuing the long line of bosses not getting to play against Vergil. And this is actually approaching the end of the Nero section, or what would be the Nero section normally in the game. And there's another skip right here, where Igna's going to use a bunch of Vergil's Ascension techniques here to get right up here.
To make sure that I got it, because I thought I didn't have enough. But it worked.
Always got to make sure, dude.
Yeah. It's a really easy skip, but it's really easy to mess up if you do one input slower than the other. So it's always good to make sure. You don't lose anything.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, so another thing about the difference between variable FPS, which maxes out at 120 FPS, versus 60 FPS, is that you actually gain more height off of certain moves at variable FPS. That was really good. It was
nice. That guy's annoying usually.
Yeah, he's usually just like that enemy down there, like by those grips, is just there to just ruin your day and ruin all your PB attempts. So I'm glad that he decided to forego the usual marathon luck.
Yeah, he was like, hey, we're doing this for charity. I'm gonna be nice for you today, but tomorrow, oh boy, I'll get you tomorrow.
PB attempts, not in my house.
Not in my house. Whoop, there you go.
And so here we're going to fight the leader of the Order of the Sword, who is voiced by, I think, Liam O'Brien. And also, fun fact, the guy that voiced Jester in DMC3 tried out for this part. Just a little fun fact there. And he got punched. And so now we're going to have to take him out again. And he's going to just, again, continue the trend of bosses that just die to, like, one punch from Vergil. And boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
That was a really good mission, actually.
That was solid. So now, you're probably thinking, well, it looks like this is the end of the line. Yeah, there's really nowhere to go here. We're kind of up top somewhere. And you would be right, fair viewer, because this game is going to now require us to go all the way back through the levels backwards to the beginning of the game, or effectively what would be the beginning of the game. Because the budget for this game was so small, it was the equivalent of the DMC3 budget. So they gave the development team the same amount of money to develop a PS2 game as they did a PS3 game on Empty Framework, which was a new engine that they were unfamiliar with working with. This is also Judgment Cut End right here. This is the typical anime, like, samurai, like, teleports behind you, nothing personal, kid type move. And you just take out the whole room.
We use it for AoE, basically. So it is basically a holy water that you can use from time to time. So it makes a lot of uncomfortable fights really easy.
Yep. Here's another skip right here. Boom. Very nice. And so yeah, they
found out. So did you saw that I took that orb at the very beginning before the Judgment Cut? That is a little bit of optimization that I've been doing, just to have enough swords for me to be able to decloak this guys fast and do not have to charge in with Judgment Cuts. So it makes this room a little tiny bit faster.
Nice.
Stuff that you find when you're playing this game for so many hours a day. Because Dante usually takes it, so I thought that, whoa, okay, we'll do this again. Why not take it as Vergil? It's basically in the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Whoa. I have one extra Devil Star, so we might be able to use Judgment Cut on this one. Because I didn't make the skip on mission 9, so I have one extra Devil Star there.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. That's good. Then we're gonna take these guys down.
Yeah.
Again, normally this is like where you would normally wait for the Angelos to kind of form up to do the powered attack and like knock it back at them, but Vergil just doesn't care. He doesn't need it at all. You don't have to wait on them. You just have so much damage output that you just kind of truck on through. The next mission here is a maze where there's more Sonic action going on here. Camera again cannot keep up. He's off to the races. So we have a little bit of we have a little bit of downtime here for donations or whatever, because there's just kind of a lot of walking and some small fights.
Basically just a little bit of a maze, so we have time.
Yeah, alright. We have a $4.44 donation from Tempest Mask 1000 saying, having joined this merry band of hunters this year, I knew I had to donate for Igna. Vergil and the Slick do. Thanks so much to the Valkyries for bringing DMC4 to Speedrun Ragnarok this year. Happy hunting, Igna. And Cosmic, stay fantastic, man. I'll be ready with Reboot soon. Jackpot!
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and I will hold you to that. All right, so the way that this mission works is that you have to basically find out like the correct path to, because Echidna's back and she's sort of like discombobulated a lot of the rooms, and so like you see the purple mist there. So rooms that would normally lead into each other, if there's a purple mist there, they don't lead to the same room as before. So there's like a fixed path that we have to take in order to get through this, and it's a little bit confusing sometimes, but You know, it's nothing doing. It's something you can get used to it pretty quickly. And we're gonna have to do the puzzle again here too, because again, you know, the budget for this game was so small that they chose to focus a lot on the combat engine, and as a result, the level design kind of got, you know, folded in half, and so Dante ended up going through like all the same levels that Nero does. And this really kind of like, you know, rears its head when you play through as Vergil, because you're already stacked up, you know, like Vergil doesn't have to share the economy or anything with anybody. He's just got it all to himself. So you're all stacked up, you're ready for late game, and you're just ready to like, you know, just decimate everybody. And so when you have to fight these same bosses over again with Vergil, it really does test your consistency a lot, because you know you're not going to be using a different character that's, you know, got some different moves to kind of shake things up. You're just using the same guy the whole time. I mean.
Okay, she did the thing.
Oh, good, excellent. You love to see it. And there's the heavy rain blades in order to make sure she stays put. And she's unfortunate.
I didn't have enough DT. That's fine.
Probably from the extra blistering there. Cool though.
She does that anyways. Yeah, I use a little extra swords. The thing about this boss fight is that you have to take into account how many swords you're spamming, because the DT stocks get used for swords and as well for heavy rain swords. So if you go one more than you should have, you're not gonna have enough DT.
Yep.
But it's fine, like, it's fine. We're gonna have another one.
A door rando I don't know about. Maybe within levels themselves, because they're individually loaded, but as far as like the whole game, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That'd be
So,
tough. That'd be tough.
Now we have
Go ahead.
this mission. This mission gets a new enemy introduced that is called the Fault. These are those weird things that you see on the floor. So basically what happens is that they're gonna try to eat me. And if they eat me, they're gonna take me into another room where I have to make a couple fights, and it's gonna reset the entire room. So the entire mission itself, the gimmick of it, is try to fight while avoiding them as much as possible. So these guys are known for killing runs.
Yeah. The obvious pun here is that if you lose a run to one of these guys, it's not your fault. Please clap. So, this mission is, you know, it's definitely like really volatile, and once you like you go into this mission just like, man, I really just don't want to get eaten by one of these things. And then every time you come out of here, like, no matter what pace you're on, you could lose, you know, like 10 seconds on this mission. And it's like, I don't care. I made it out alive. I'm good to go. I can keep playing the game as long as I didn't get swallowed.
Just finishing the mission without getting eaten is actually a huge achievement. And the worst part is that you cannot even kill them, because you can kill them, but they continue to spawn. So they're counted as hazard from the environment, so doesn't count towards enemy kills. So they get annoying. You can kill as many as you want, and you're still gonna see them.
Yeah, it's like it'll take care of the fault in that certain area for a little while, but it won't, like, by no means take them off the map if you kill any of them. And like Igna said, they're not going to count towards the waves. So you effectively, like, it is best to just ignore them as, you know, as best as you can and kill the rest of the enemies. But there are some times where, like, you kind of just have to accept that maybe you got to kill one of these guys and just get them out of your way, because they can be very intrusive to the rest of the combat. And whoever designed this room definitely had it out for whoever was playing the game, because they put one of the hardest enemies, two of the hardest enemies to deal with. They were like, let's throw a real challenge at them, because there's enemies that have blades on them that will activate while they're in hit stun, and it will they'll activate while they're in hit stun, so like they can just knock themselves out of your combos. And you know, as Vergil, you know, with Vergil, as we said earlier, if you get hit there, then it'll just totally take out your concentration. So now you're in a room with these enemies that can get out of your combos and the faults, and you don't have your normal damage output that you came in with. So it's just bad news bears all around if that happens. However, we don't got to worry about that with Igna, because he just skated right through that whole mission beautifully.
I'm so good at this game. kick. No, just kidding. So basically, almost bought the wrong thing. So basically, something that happens a lot with Vergil is that whenever we make a rapid slash, it is a movement that is completely horizontal. So what is going to happen there is that there's a slight chance that you rapid slash and you fall into one of them.
Yep.
And it has happened to me, and it's extremely annoying.
Yep. Can't say that hasn't happened to me too. It hasn't. So this guy is called the Blitz, and this is a pretty cool enemy as well. We're gonna use a holy water on them to kill them pretty much immediately because they do have a lot of health, and they are definitely a challenge to deal with. So we're just gonna use the holy water, which is gonna deal damage in an AOE, and just take out its lightning shield, and that will allow us to down it pretty much just immediately there.
Hydration, people. Hydration is important.
You wonder if there's like Holy Gatorade or like an equivalent in these universes.
It should be. It better be.
And here we go. Here's Judgment Cut End, finisher. Take out all these dudes.
It put a shield up.
Oh, unfortunate.
That's fine. Sometimes you're gonna squeeze a third one, but I've been testing it. It's kind of hard. I'm getting it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, that's good. Oh, okay. You mean from like just three
Judgment cuts in a row.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
It is really hard. Like you had like pixel devil trigger, but it can't be done.
You'd really have to mash that one out. Dang.
Basically, that's the strat. If they don't die, you just keep mashing until they die. Whoa. Oof. That was close.
Yeah. This is another one of those hazards that, if you don't pay attention to those blades falling from the big scarecrows here, you can lose all your concentration again, too. So it's important to, after those enemies die, they have their blade that's on their back will fall back down. You see it spinning there. Yeah, getting hit by one of those is just not a good time. Trust me.
You don't want to die on this mission because the reset point of this one is the very first fight.
Oh my goodness, the checkpoints in this part of the game are so unforgiving that it's like, if you are not on your toes like at all times, and you just take like an unintentional death, then you've probably lost like 2 minutes right there.
Got them all?
I think so. Yep, nice. Yep, very clean room. Here's a small skip right here, so we don't have to go downstairs.
Fun fact about this room, at the very beginning when I was learning the room, I had no idea how you were able to get them all. And then I realized I was never buying Trigger Heart.
That'll do it,
yeah. That is why my Devil Trigger never lasted enough.
Here's another holy water.
It took me like 2 months.
Look, man, better late than never.
It is true.
And so here's another frog.
Let's see if we can get a good one. Nope.
And yeah, so this is actually like one of the fights where you will have to just kind of wait for or hope for a good pattern. Fortunately, Igna did get like a decent one here, so he's just going to be able to stun it and then just kind of take him down with the blistering swords and the lunar phase. Those washing machine kicks are just coming in clutch this run, dude.
Yeah, I could have gone for a Dragon Breaker there, but he didn't give me a good pattern for it. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so this next skip right here is called Gas Skip or Zen Boost Skip. This is the first iteration of it. The other versions for Trish and Dante were not discovered until a few years later. But basically, there's no collision on the ceiling here. And we're just going to pass right through it. Using the usual ascension techniques. There we go. And we've now effectively saved like 2 minutes off the run.
The best part about it is that the devs never thought that anybody could get that high.
That's true.
And then they made this character.
And then Trish was found, and then eventually somebody was like, all right, we got to find it for Dante. Dante's got to skip it now. And then that happened.
Skip this scares me.
It's so good, dude. It's so awesome.
It is extremely cool when you pull it off, and visually it's amazing, but it scares me. Like, I don't have enough fingers in my hands to do that.
I mean, that's the character in a nutshell, right? I don't have enough fingers.
Come on, Doggo. There you go.
Right. Now he's going to get some concentration back here. Take out the dogs. So normally Dante would use a holy water here, but we do need to get concentration up to kill those guys. And because Vergil actually buys more devil stars and stuff than the other characters, oh, that was cool. That was interesting. Okay. Yeah, that was cool. I don't think I've seen that before.
That's pretty cool. Like, it targets one of the ones at the far left, so you just zip.
Whew.
Stuff that you find when you play this game a lot.
That's fair. See, I just play the fair characters, Igna. Okay.
What do you mean? You know how hard it is to get those cuts pixel perfect every time?
It's like, do you know how hard it is to two-shot every boss?
Yeah, just look at this.
For them, dude. Yeah, look at it. Okay, so here we go. And this guy's just gonna go down. Okay, look at that. This is called Dragon Breaker, by the way. This is basically Vergil's Shoryuken. And look at that boss just melt, dude.
I don't know why the concentration didn't work at the beginning, but it's fine. It was still no damage.
Cool. Dunsky. And we have now gone pretty much back almost all the way to the beginning of the game. We are now, entering the town that we were on in Mission 2. And we're going to fight, we're going to go back there and we're going to fight Agnes the bug guy again. But first we actually have to make it through some of the, crazier fights. I think this is actually the last bit of, non-boss combat that's in the run, too.
It is.
Yeah. And this is actually a pretty decent time for donations, too, because there's not really anything crazy going on, so.
No donations at the moment, but exclamation point donate if you want to get some in.
Right. And then there's the judgment cut on the Angelos, and they're down. This next room here has by far some of the most challenging geometry that you will encounter.
I hate it so much. Everything can go so wrong. So many targets.
Yeah. So the Mephistos here, they can fly around like the edge or whatever of this alleyway, and if you knock them into the abyss, like this right here too, well, Igna got kind of lucky there. But if they fall off the edge to the right or to the camera's right, they'll fall down and then recloak, and it's a real hassle. That right there you see it, commentator's curse.
Okay, Vergil is so beat that he can still hit out of bounds.
Yeah, it's fine.
He doesn't care about bounds.
We cut through time and space with the katana, dude. And so now, I'm gonna go ahead and use that good old judgment cut end. Actually, this is holy water and then judgment cut, right?
Yeah, burn the holy water, and I have no concentration, so that's amazing.
That was weird. I think
I don't know why.
Hit by something last second, but it's fine.
It might be that I got hit while I was casting the holy water. I don't know. It's fine. We just build it up for a moment there and just judgment cut, and that's it.
Oh, good.
It's actually the first time that happens. It's weird. Marathon luck, I guess.
It's true. It's a real thing. And so for this part right here, Igna's going to take out one Mephisto here to spawn the gold Angelos.
Stick him here.
Just for good measure. And then use one of the last holy waters in the run. Take them both down. The Faust is going to go down. This, I think, is probably one of the cooler things to do with this character, is when you get to do teleports into judgment cuts, and you just feel really cool doing it. It's like, hey.
The trick cancel cut. So cool. It's one of the first things that I learned, and it took me quite a while.
And so here is Agnes.
So we got it. No, he moved.
Unfortunate.
That position is really weird to hit.
Yeah, this boss is generally pretty difficult to deal with just because of like how there's like little variations at the very start there that can just mess with a lot of setups for pretty much all characters that fight him in this level. And so usually like there's a couple of like improvisational strategies like the one that Igna's using right here. So if you don't get the uppercut, then you can just kind of go with that. Dante, if he doesn't get like his uppercuts, he has other stuff that he can do with some of his weapons. And Trish, like, if she can't get off her cannon shots, then she has like other stuff that she needs to do. So that boss is a little weird, but it pretty much took him down without incident anyway.
Yeah, it was a good one actually. Yeah, I didn't get no damage, so I should have got hit with the dogs or something probably. But it's fine. We don't have to buy anything in regards of economy, like except the holy water, but we really have no money. So we should be good. We don't mind that much about having no damage anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So this boss right here is more of like a puzzle or like a set piece than an actual boss. That was unfortunate.
It happens.
And this guy is called the Savior. This is essentially what the Order of the Sword has been worshipping and stuff. Even though it doesn't really bear much of a resemblance to Dante's father, this is like their idol or their god to some degree. And so
didn't get enough.
You have to take out a bunch of crystals on his body. And once you take out all those crystals is when his health bar will actually activate.
He was nice. There you go. Oh, I got a cannon.
Hey, very good, nice. This is actually best RNG here. This is one of like the few instances of RNG in this run is whether or not this cannon will spawn after taking out the head crystal there. And then we can just move on to immediately knocking him down rather than waiting for because otherwise you have to hit his fingers in order to knock him down pretty much immediately. But the cannon spawning there means that we can have the cannon knock him down for us. So, good stuff. Good marathon luck.
So we're almost done with this guy. So he's gonna throw up that big laser to us. So basically we just do a little bit of platforming, going on the jump pads, until we get a specific position where his health is gonna actually spawn, which is after this pad. And then he's gonna throw the laser again, so we move to the next platform, we equip a Beowulf, we look at him menacingly, our concentration loads, it's done. We keep looking at him just for stylish points there. He gets a little bit up, we start charging. Boss is dead.
Yeah, that boss is toast, dude. That boss just dies. That even works, by the way, on the highest difficulty. So even when that boss has the highest health it can have, using distortion with that uppercut just totally decimates it. It's just gone.
Something that I think that we forgot to mention is that move has 2 points for distortion.
Yep.
One, when you make the first uppercut, you turn on your double trigger, and then you can turn it off on the second one, and you get another point of distortion, and as well, you charge double trigger.
So one more dice section here. This is like this game's boss rush. Mm-hmm. And all of the Devil May Cry games, 3, 4, and 5, like all the modern ones. So after like the PS2, or I guess DMC3 was on the PS2, but like after Itsuno took over the development, and directing the series from 2 and onward, they all had boss rushes of some kind. And this game's version of it, where unfortunately we don't get to fight Credo again, so we just have the Angelos there to represent him, because Credo actually just dies canonically in the story.
Oh, he blocked.
So, that's unfortunate.
It happens.
Yeah, true. Still unfortunate. Gotta stun him though. So we get to just for reference, everybody, you do have to fight these bosses 3 times during the course of the run. So that should tell you how little stretched for money that they were. No fault of their own, mind you. It's just what they had to deal with, and they still pulled off an incredible game. So.
No, it happens. For sometimes it happens that the distortion itself, it doesn't hit them, and you just get like that. But it's fine.
That was really good there. The instant rapid slash to get the 4 there. So when there's certain die that when you skip the cutscene, they'll always be on the 4 by the time that you get to hit them. So if you instantly do a move that will activate the die, you can just always get like an instant result there in order to move to the next level. Frogs were not nice, dude, this run after the first one.
Didn't get a single Dragon Breaker, but still they were a little cooperative there. Did he jump?
Yeah. The game just does not want to let you do Dragon Breaker. I don't know what it's got against you.
I'll try to get a Echidna. We still have 2 shots at Dragon Breaker.
That's fair, yeah. So here's Flower Form again. And we go punch.
There we go.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Done.
And we need a Styx.
And here is the 3rd time that we will fight Agnes.
Taking that health just in case.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like there are some pretty cool boss strats for this level specifically, but Agnes, unfortunately, because of the way that he operates, the strats against him don't really change a whole lot. So like Echidna, the Frog, and Burial, they have like specific things that you're going to do on this level to them. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything outside of the ordinary for Agnes. That. So we are going to be heading into the final boss fight here in a bit, in just a few seconds.
Hopefully the guy's nice.
Yeah, after more Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, that was really quick. That was like super quick.
Okay, so we're going to the boss fight. We're going to have to try to distortion punch him twice. Time is when we hit it the 2nd time. Hopefully he's nice, because he's a pretty simple fight, but he likes to mess up. See if he wants to be nice for us today.
We shall see.
Just look at that.
Oh, that was nice of him. Not really, though. And there we go. So it begins. There's the first punch. And this is this is pretty crucial to do these, because otherwise you have to deal with like a phase where he charges at you, and that's just slow. So
that's
we're not
time.
gonna do that. Boom, time.
And that's Devil May Cry 4. Vergil.
GG, dude. Good run.
Hey, thanks. Can I get info on the time?
I'm seeing 106.12.
106.12. Pretty good. Still pretty good underestimate.
Pretty solid.
But yeah, that was a good run. So do we have time for some final words?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So just want to thank everybody here. Thank the Valkyries as well. They have been amazing. They're doing a lot of things for this event. It's pretty nice, great cause. Thanks for having me and Cosmic as well. Cosmic, thanks a lot for being here. And anybody in chat for hanging out. It's, as you can see, a really nice run. If you would like to learn this run or other Devil May Cry run, you can definitely join us. Just go for speedrun.com and search for Devil May Cry. You get a link to a Discord. We have guides for all the runs, and you can definitely join us if you want. And Vergil is a nice run. I might be working on a guide for this one if you want to learn it. It's basically pretty simple, just judgment cut. But you guys have been amazing, and that's it. Cosmic, you have any last words?
Yeah, I do want to again thank the RPG Valkyries for having us on. Igna, again, thank you for asking me to do commentary. Good luck to all the runners for the rest of the event. I hope everything goes well in all of your runs. Everybody doesn't get marathon luck. And again, I do want to just echo again what Igna said. If you do want to learn any of these games, there's a lot of people now that are really into these games, and everybody's optimizing them and everything. New stuff's getting found all the time. We'll all help you out. We're pretty tight together, so we're tightly knit, and we definitely want to see more people run these games. They're awesome, and I really hope that everybody enjoyed this run because it's great. And Igna, I'm really proud of you, dude. You worked pretty hard on this, so good job.
Thanks a lot, Cosmic, and again, thanks for everybody. Like again, if you want to join us, you're welcome to do so. I'm currently on the grind for record on this one. I'm like 1 minute and 20 seconds, so you'll see a lot of me if you want to get more content from Vergil.
All right, GG, thanks for the awesome run. Next up is going to be Crypt of the Necrodancer Amplified from Zello. Yeah, awesome run, thank you.
You're welcome, thanks.